You guys ready? I got this from ancient warriors in China. And I added something from the ancient warriors of Mexico. And if you think about going into battle in ancient times, there were no MASH units. If you got pretty much any sword wound or spear wound or arrow wound, pretty much you were gonna die. And it might take a while to die, and it was not good. So these men going into battle had to control their fear. And that's ultimately what we're up against. So I'm just going to draw one of my very sad stick figures here. And it's a side view. This guy only has 3 hairs. You guys have much more. And we have little hands here. So I want you to imagine breathing up the backs of your legs, so up over your spine, and swirling the breath in front of your forehead. So everybody just take a breath in, and swirl it in front of your forehead, count to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then release down in front of your body. So we're going to go down in front of your body, and then you're going to swirl in front of your toes, and then you're going to take the next breath in. So we're going to do that a little bit. Breathe in, up the backs of your legs. With the top of your head, swirl it. Now, the next piece is you want to keep your knees bent. You're sitting, so that's okay. We'll stand in a minute, but just let me give you the instructions first. And then I want you to imagine grounding into the earth so that you're solid. Right? I had a 4th grader who had a speech impairment. He couldn't speak. He couldn't get his words out. And it was frustrating to him because he was smart. He was smart as a whip. And I taught him just this technique. Before I taught it to him, I just kind of nudged him, and he was like that. After I taught it to him, he was grounded, he was solid, he was rooted, he was doing the breathing. And the next week, nobody bothered him at school. It was just like magically, because he had more power internally, people didn't mess with him. So think about that. No one has to know you're doing this, and yet you are inside taking charge of your state. All right? And why is that important? That's important because we have 3 brains. Did you know that? We got the lizard brain, and that's your fight or flight. We got your mammal brain, and that's your all like, I want my tummy rubbed, kind of Labrador retriever kind of thing. And both of those move away from pain and towards pleasure. Then we have our conscious mind, which is our rational mind. Now the first thing that happens if someone gets in your face, the first thing that happens is you are facing a test, you're facing an athletic competition where you know your team is probably going to get whopped by the other team or whatever. This is what you have to manage inside. So it's a warrior thing. So I want you guys all to stand up. If you could please not talk, just stand up. We're going to breathe up the backs of our legs, over the top of our head, down in front of our body. Come on, guys, do it right now. You can do it. I'm running out of time. I want to teach you the good stuff. This is just the basic stuff. All right, cool. So breathe in. Breathe out. Keep your knees bent. Everybody bend your knees just a little bit so you're kind of... Now I want you to imagine grounding into the earth. Got it? Cool. Now, when no one's looking, when you're at home alone in the mirror, the breath is like this. Amy Cuddy of Harvard has researched that putting your arms in this victory position biochemically changes your body and causes more power to flow through your entire energy field, your entire neurology. And what you don't see is athletes are doing this, they're taking the latest research, and in the locker room, they're literally preparing their bodies for victory. Right? 2 minutes a day. All you have to do, put your arms down. Come on. 2 minutes a day, do the breathing. And here's the whole thing. You guys ready? I Again, you're not going to do this in front of other people. This is just something for the mirror. So you're going to go down, you're going to grab the breath, to bring it up, swirl it in front of your forehead, release, then you're going to go straight up, and you're going to hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and poof. And have a seat. You guys did great. Thank you. Give yourself a round of applause. Now, next piece, when you're in front of the mirror doing this, and you feel good, because you will feel good if you do this, chances are probably 10% of you will actually remember to do this, but the ones that do, once you do it, reach up and just, once you feel good, squeeze your earlobe. What we're doing is anchoring those good feelings so that anytime you need them, you can just then fire that anchor. And every time you feel good, you anchor it. Every time you feel solid and grounded, you anchor it. And by doing this breathing, this is something you can do during a test. It will help calm you. You can do this right before a game and during a game. You can do it on the bus. You can do it anywhere you are. On my airplane flights all across the country, I just breathe. Sometimes I'll breathe for 3 hours. And I found I need about 3 hours less sleep every day when I remember to do this. When I forget to do it, I'm dragging. So this can increase your energy. This can increase your power. This can increase your self-confidence. It seems simple, but it works. So that's number one. Now, number two, this is the one that might challenge your belief system a little bit. Nah, I don't think you guys are ready for it. No, I shouldn't teach them. I don't know. Do you want to learn this? You might not get it at first. All right. One of the areas I researched in the human brain and the human mind and human behavior was that most people, including someone who is being aggressive, particularly someone who is being aggressive towards you, they're actually in a trance. They're in a fight or flight trance state. And they're not logical because the blood supply to their rational neocortex, the thinking mind, has all gone to the lizard brain. And the lizard brain is all about fight or flight, attack or be attacked, protect, escape, harm. And the lizard brain is every man for himself. I'm just going to try to protect myself. But when we get into our rational mind, that gives us the ability to actually create solutions. So here's the key. Let me tell you a story. Darren Brown, you can look him up on YouTube, Darren Brown. He's a British guy. He does a lot of the same stuff that I do, but he does it on a TV show, so he's famous. He came out of a magician's convention in a small town in Wales, in England. And he was walking down the street thinking about some stuff, and he didn't realize there was a really drunk guy coming down the sidewalk, arguing with his girlfriend. They were having a fight. And Darren looks at them, and the guy goes, "What are you looking at?" It's kind of like this. What are you looking at? And of course, Darren Brown's initial instinct was, but Darren, because he knows the stuff I know that I'm trying to teach you guys, immediately said to him, "Oh, the walls. The walls here, I've noticed, are really small. The walls in Spain are much bigger." And the drunk guy was like, "Huh? What?" And Darren Brown was thinking, as soon as he installed some confusion in the guy, he would suggest, and you might notice that your left foot is stuck to the ground, and then he would make his escape. Because when people are confused, they're extremely suggestible. So the bottom line is if someone comes at you aggressively and you do something totally and completely unexpected, like not react to them, they will be confused, and then you have a moment to change the entire course of probably your life and possibly their life for the better. So here's the deal. Let's say someone calls me Four Eyes, right? The first thing I would do is agree with them. Yeah, you're right. I do have 4 eyes. Hey, those are cool sneakers. Where did you get those? Right? So the thing is, if you agree with them, in a way it's like a fly has landed on your face and you just brush it off, then you refocus them. So, do you think you could do that? You could if you did the breathing. If you don't do the breathing, you're going to go into fear, you're going to go into your fight or flight, you're either going to try to run, in which case they will chase you, or you're going to try to fight back, and I don't know how that's going to work out. A lot of the bullying victims or targets that have stood up with their fists usually get expelled from school, even though they were defending themselves. So the way of the fist just doesn't work anymore, even though it might seem to be satisfying. So if you can stay in your breath and take a moment to just go, and then respond, yeah, you're right, I am whatever they say you are. Yeah, I am fat. Yeah, I am skinny. Yeah, I am tall. Yeah, I am short. Yeah, I am this. I am that. Whatever you say. Cool. Hey, did you get the homework from Mrs. Jones? It's called redirection and distraction. It works. Any magician, I had a magician friend who can literally take your watch off. He will tell you, hey, I'm going to take your watch off. And you'll go, no, I don't think you can do it. And he'll proceed to distract the person enough so that they don't even feel the watch being taken off. The human mind, people, is an amazing playground. There's so much that we have learned that hasn't yet made it down to our schools. This is leading edge stuff. This is the things that when you talk to a champion athlete, when you talk to someone who has made $1 million, one of my coaches is a 27-year-old guy. He's a 27-year-old kid. Started out as a dating coach. I saw one of his videos 5 years ago. I was not impressed. 4 years later, he is a multi-millionaire. Why? Because he studied this stuff. The more you study how your mind works and how what you say affects other people and how you can take charge of your own internal world, the more power you can have. You can do anything, go anywhere, be anybody you want if you can master this. And the thing is, none of us come out of the box knowing how to do this. So those are a few very short, very simple things that I wanted to leave with you today. I gotta watch my time here. Cool. I have like 5 minutes left. So I want you guys to take another breath in, up the backs of your legs, over the top of your head. Release down the front of your body. Feel it. Does anybody feel better after breathing? Study after study shows this actually works. It's one of the best things. Most people are using drugs and alcohol and TV and video games and all the other things we use to try to feel better. But you have the tool right here to feel better anytime of the day. Anybody have a test coming up? You guys like tests? All right, cool. Here's the test. The test of the test is, the next test you have, I want you to remember to do this. And remind your friends, remind each other. Let's do the breathing. Let's see if this guy was right. Test it out. Test it out on the test. See how you do. Most people who have studied this have studied that people get better grades. Not that you'd be interested in that or not. All right, so that's one tool. We have the breathing, the grounding. There's one other thing. This I got from the ancient Toltecs of Mexico. The ancient Toltecs, when the Spanish came, the Toltecs were already underground. They were already a secret survivor culture. They survived for thousands of years in a place where to step out of line meant almost instant death. And this is the tool that I learned from them. It's called the Toltec eye roll. And what you do is you look up, you look over there, you look down, and you do this while you're breathing. It gives you time. And what the eye roll does is it moves through different quadrants of your brain so that you don't get stuck in one fear thought. So you look up, that's pictures. You look to either side, that's sounds or self-talk. You look down, that's feelings. And part of what happens is we get stuck in feelings. We get stuck in feeling bad. And we don't know how to get out. So you now have some tools that I use with my peak performance athletes. I want you guys to practice them, and I want you to write to me. My email is at my website, markshepard.com. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear how you're using these things. All right? So breathe up. And release. Swirl in front of your toes. Swirl and swirl, swirl. Take that breath in. Now look around. Just look around. Kind of look around like you have all the time in the world. Look around. And then respond. Yeah, you're right. I am. Fill in the blank, whatever you said. Hey, by the way, did you get the homework? Or hey, by the way, I like those sneakers. Or hey, by the way, I saw you in the game last week. You did well. Because when a bully is coming at you, ultimately, what are they trying to do? They're trying to get you to react because you reacting makes them feel good. You reacting is entertaining for them. So if you don't give them that, but you give them something that makes them feel good, done. So if I had said to Bill, when he called me that name, that I get in trouble every time I repeat it in the school, I could have said, yeah, you're right, I am. And hey, you know, you run really fast for a big guy. And you know what? You're like built like a refrigerator. Do you think maybe you could teach me how to do that? If I had honored him and admired him and asked him for help, ultimately, I look around at all of your faces. There's not a bad person in the school. You may not agree with me, however, I look and I see not just gray hair, but I see some amazing people. I see people who have talent, people who have heart, people who want to make a difference in the world with their lives, even if you don't know that yet about yourself. So I hope you will discover that very soon.